Sure.
What if somebody
Boo to you
wants
and
to
your
see it
joke.
later?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if we want to see it
Because
later?
I told my dad, I'm like, oh no, it's not live. It's fine.
It's both.
I didn't
No,
know.
this will go up Friday or Saturday.
Okay, cool.
I refuse to watch anything I'm in, so
Streets.
perfect.
We're alive.
I'm like looking out the window.
Street sweeper.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
Nailed it.
Welcome.
Welcome to the wow, it's podcast for all. Got it. Don't worry about me. Got it under control. Welcome to the Cosplay for All podcast. Today we are doing convention survival, and we've brought in someone to cover every aspect of a convention attendee/guest that we can think of. So right here, representing charitable organizations and vendors, we have Ronan.
Howdy.
And where are you from?
From here, representing the Crate Clan for the Mandalorian Mercs today, and Heroic.
Awesome. And then we have representing the professional cosplayer/booth girl, we have Joni Broses.
Hi guys.
And then representing group cosplay, cosplay contestant, that was a mouthful. We have Ian from Nerds of Play.
Yeah.
I said that one for you. And then representing the press aspect of a convention.
Hi, I'm Parker with GeekTyrant.com.
Woohoo! So surviving a convention is, I feel like it's relatively easy to do. Conventions are one of the most fun experiences that you can have, but in order to make that a better experience, I feel like there are some things that people need to know
Yes.
to prepare themselves. So basic survival skills, what's the most important thing that you can think of in preparing yourself for like a 3 to 4 day weekend at a convention?
So I think actually it starts with, before you go, is design your costume.
Oh yeah.
Four.
I
That
can.
costs
Well, especially like for me, my first one, we did a big armor piece, and it wasn't until I was almost done, and I was like, wait, how am I going to go to the bathroom in this?
I completely agree.
And so-
My cell costume is the exact same way. I actually fast from like 5 p.m. the night before because if I have to pee, it's like a 2-hour process. I don't want to
I
do
need
that.
help. Help is weird.
Yeah, so I think like, just starting ahead of time, thinking about what you're going to be doing,
Testing it.
yeah, testing it out, see what works,
Yeah.
see what doesn't. I think that's really important.
And even for people who don't attend for any specific reason other than to just go and have a good time, like wearing the right shoes or like making sure
Yes.
that you have everything that you need with you. Like if you have kids, make sure that you bring them
That
you
everything.
have
So
kids.
whatever you
Kids.
need
Yeah.
to survive that weekend.
But food, I can't stress enough. I just got back from E3 and I ate once. The
Oh,
whole
wow.
time
Does
I
not
was there,
feel
there's
good.
just too much to go on if you have
Yeah.
snacks.
You don't
Yeah,
even think
yeah.
about it.
So
Yeah.
what are your, like for me, when I go to a con, I usually pack power bars,
Mhm.
beef jerky,
Yes.
and usually some kind of powdered
Donuts.
Or, no,
Powerade that I can add to water.
Right, okay, yeah, yeah.
Most of those food. So what are some of your guys' food?
Honestly, I don't like. I'm not prepared for this portion at all because I go to a con and it will be seriously. I'm dehydrated. I'm starving by the end of the day, and then I shove so much food in my mouth that I'm sick the rest of the
We
day.
Yeah.
always
So-
Good
go
example.
to like Denny's after the fact so we can
Yeah.
load up for the next day.
Carbo load.
But like we always bring like Cliff bars and things
Yeah.
like
Just buy
that,
them.
water bottles, because I know for you especially, you
Mhm.
don't leave your booth like ever.
Not leaving. No, not at all. That's why I stock up and I may or may not eat it, but bananas are really good
Mhm.
because I don't know, that just gets you energized and everything. And or at least having someone to get you water or get
Yeah,
you
yeah.
something just in case.
Well, I have my press bag and I just have like snacks in it, like
Mhm.
M&Ms or peanuts.
Smart idea.
And most conventions are pretty good with you bringing in your own food. Like
Yeah.
not necessarily like a tray full of a
Yeah,
place
like a
across
pizza,
the
yeah.
street.
Hey.
But I mean, if you can,
Like
you can
snacks.
put stuff in like a bag.
Mhm.
For me, most of my costumes don't have pockets, and so that becomes a problem. But normally, there's a place where I can put it.
I'm in
like
the
a booth.
same boat
Mhm.
with that. I mean, press bag, booth.
Yeah.
I
And it ruins
I
pictures
virtually like when I
sometimes.
go, my whole goal is to find a booth or somebody sitting in a booth
Yes.
that I know and be like, "Can I keep stuff here?"
I'm just gonna tuck this under your
Because if
table.
not,
even as important as it is to remain fed and watered, it's expensive to buy things
Oh,
at
gosh,
a
yeah.
convention. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if I could recommend anything, I would recommend bringing your own food
Yes.
and hiding it anywhere you can.
All over your body.
Of course, follow the rules of
We've-
convention, but
Yes.
wink, wink.
Yes.
We've
Follow the
actually
rules.
considered making like compartments in like our props and stuff
That's
like
a
that
good
to
idea.
hide
Yeah.
I
stuff.
do that with my holsters because like they
Yeah.
always have like those extra side pockets on them. Now I'm just like
I put money
keep
there.
my money in there, I keep my ID in there. 'Cause it's such a tight pocket. But like if I could fit food, I'll fit food. I'll
Well, like I
find a
just
way.
designed this one prop, and it has a big butt of a weapon,
Mhm.
and so I made it so it pops out, and the
Wow.
person can put stuff in there. And
That's so
Yeah,
cool. I
so
want
again-
to see
So
it.
Yeah.
genius.
Just saw it online.
I feel like more important than food is staying hydrated.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yes.
especially when you're in a costume, for
Mhm.
you two specifically, they get really, really hot. Because if you have like you have like a helmet and like giant armor and stuff, like what is your best tip to stay hydrated in a situation where it's a lot harder for you?
Well, definitely
remember
water.
it.
I mean, for example, before I was with the Mercs, first Comic-Con I went to, I had this big armor, and I put this canteen on my belt just for a last minute. I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, and that saved my life.
Mhm.
I mean, serious, because it was just always there. Luckily, I had my son with me, so he'd just go fill it up for me. But I mean, hydrated is a big thing, and unfortunately, it's not healthy. But you have to keep, at least for me, like almost dehydrated. 'Cause You don't
Yeah.
want to pee too much, but you
Yeah.
don't want to go to
Whoa.
danger
Yes.
zone.
And
Yeah.
my big thing is my big costumes, I haven't quite caught the concept of your tip. Make sure you have a place to pee. So
Yeah.
Stadium
I
buddies.
mean, I literally have to stay dehydrated. And then when I go home, it's like it's time to
Just-
chug because
yeah.
my next costume I'm good.
Mhm.
Luckily, like at least with us now, we have a booth and stuff like that. We usually have an area in the back where we store our totes, and we usually have a table for snacks and handlers to help us. Hey, make sure you're drinking. Make sure
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
taking stuff
Have
like
a
that.
buddy even just to
Mhm.
remind you, it just helps whether you're going there alone, find a buddy to be like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to
Like-
look out for each other.
Yeah. I mean, granted, yeah, there's so much to do at every convention, but like, yeah, but when we go as press, there's too much for one man to see. So we
Mhm.
have a team, and then we split up, and then just staying in a team, we all get together, and we all bring food and stuff. So I don't.
Yeah.
And there's a
And
place-
then they have like the green room for press where they
Yeah.
do have refreshments.
Actually,
I wouldn't necessarily say that there's like meals.
Depends where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the like E3, they're great to press. Just free
Oh,
lunch,
yeah.
food, and water
Oh,
like the
that's
whole time.
awesome.
That sounds
You're
fantastic.
taking
me
notes,
there.
No,
I'm like,
So
mm.
awesome.
we all stared at our TVs for 12 plus hours and just communicated.
We're all
That's
talking
it.
through the chat.
Yeah. It was like, what is happening?
Work.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I wish that
Backwards
we would've been catered
compatibility.
lunch because I didn't get off the couch for 12 hours. We had like those little breaks in between conferences. I'm like, should we go get food?
No, you can't leave. It.
I
Can't
said
leave.
to the cat. next
Everybody
to me,
eat and shower. Go.
So what about things like, one thing I found is chapstick.
Oh my
that's
gosh,
a good
yeah.
one.
Because, I mean, you're all day, if you're not drinking enough water, you start getting dehydrated. I mean, by the time at the end of the day, your lips are horrible.
Doesn't look good in pictures.
By
too,
the end of the
so.
weekend, by
I mean,
the
I don't
end
got
of
a
the
pretty
weekend,
face
my
anyway,
lips
but
are
at least I
chapped.
don't like to
And
hurt.
even
Yeah.
for like girls at a booth, or guys at a booth, if you have like makeup that you need to have retouched, like make sure that you have that with you because
Mhm.
that's also
A
important.
mirror is good, or even have somebody that's going to be honest with you. Be like, oh, hey, you should probably fix that
You look
thing
really
right there.
bad.
Yeah, or like you're a little oily.
Your
You might want to
mascara
pat that
is running
down.
down your face.
Yeah.
Well,
You looked at me
those
like-
those are the type of friends that are good to have
Those are good
around
friends.
for the simple fact they will tell you.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
kidding.
need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing, crowd control. Would you say that that's a problem that you need to like work around or figure out a way?
You have to be considerate of where you're taking pictures, especially if you're in costume. Like if you're in front of somebody's booth, it's kind of rude because customers can't actually see what they're selling. Or if you're in a alleyway or something and you're standing right here, it's like sometimes a crowd will happen. And so you want to avoid that.
Well, I
Be
mean,
courteous.
on that note, with doing group costumes, it even becomes
Yeah, yours is even
a
bigger.
bigger problem because you've got 5 people, hence the people have to stand back further. So a lot of the things with that, a big costume or a big group, one thing you want to keep in mind when people stop you to take pictures in front of booths, whatnot, first and foremost, get out of the walkway. Try to move to the side the
Yeah.
best you
They'll
can.
listen to you too. They're like, oh, let's come over
and
here.
She's got a
It's-
big gun. She listens to me.
Yeah.
And it's fortunate enough with Salt Lake because they are a more cosplay oriented
Mhm.
con and people don't really tend to mind as much. But at the same time, you get this big bubble that forms around you because you got picture takers over here, the costumes over here.
Standbys.
One thing the people taking pictures need to
Going on.
know is you cannot completely stop the flow of traffic. So let the people pass through.
Mhm.
Take your pictures at the right moment. Snap in between the
Mhm.
people. I mean, it's
Have your
really
stuff
not
ready. Oh my gosh,
it's not
have
as
it ready.
hard as it seems,
Hold
and it
on,
just
let me-
makes it so much
Yeah.
better.
And the
Uh.
good thing is because there's power in numbers with you guys, you can people are gonna follow you. If they want your
Mhm.
picture, you can walk all
Oh,
the way to
yeah.
the side and then people will just go wherever you
Yeah.
need.
It's actually funny. We were headed to do a video shoot for somebody. Me and Scott were dressed as Riddler and Two-Face, and we had somebody stop us on the side of the road and ask us for a picture, and we're like, we're in the we got to get somewhere. If you want to follow us, by all means.
Yeah.
And they
Come
followed
this
us.
way.
They followed us
Do
for
it.
like 2 miles
Yep.
to stop and take a picture. Took a picture, and they're like, okay, thanks, and left. I was like, all right.
It was worth it.
But
One
do
thing-
you ever run into a problem like that being the
It really
The
is.
press?
It's not really, just because we have so much to get done. Somebody asked, but like it is just like what you said, stress enough to be ready
Yeah.
when both
Have it
on
on
both
camera
parties.
mode.
Like have your
Yeah.
camera in camera mode, or have your prop ready if you know there's gonna be like you could. I mean, you guys can see people with cameras like just
Yeah.
standing in the corner like, hey, can
Yeah,
I?
and always be
You can-
willing
you
to
can
take
tell
them
when they're
too.
like waiting for
Yeah.
you, like it's
Yeah.
not.
And I'll be like, go.
Yeah.
This
I don't-
camera here.
I
something
don't
like
even
that, you
say
know?
anything to them anymore. I'll just turn and pose to the new
Right?
person.
That one.
You
This
knock
one.
down
That
the
one.
pose and then pivot.
Yeah,
Next
pivot,
camera,
style, pivot.
But I mean, yeah, if I'm not taking pictures, it's not that big a deal. I could just
Yeah.
you just kind of like do the little creeper pose as you run past the camera. But I mean, be considerate is
Mhm.
really the best.
Be
thing.
aware of your surroundings.
Exactly.
That
Not
kind of
hard.
goes into like one of my next questions is about timeliness, which is a word, by the way.
It's
It
weird.
is.
Good.
We looked it up.
So especially with crowd control and trying to get to like you guys have a schedule, right? The
Mhm.
panels
Yes.
that you want to see,
Yep.
and I feel like you guys would be very organized about like who you're interviewing and like what you have to get done. How far ahead do you have to plan to get through the crowd to get to those specific locations and allow yourself enough time to wait?
It depends on the convention. Like
So
Salt
how
Lake,
far?
Salt Lake
Yes,
Comic
yeah.
Con, the building's relatively small. We could plan 5-10
Mm-hmm.
minutes, depending on where you are. But at E3, it's like 2 separate buildings. We have
Yeah.
to have like half an hour in
Mhm.
advance. But like and granted, the different places you have press priority lines in some cases, in other cases you don't. You just have to know your convention. So just research beforehand is what's really important,
Mhm.
and then be flexible is what's really
Yes.
important, because you'll have like,
The
oh,
more
by
time,
the
the
way,
better.
some random celebrity. I know Sean Penn is in the building. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I went with Sean Penn, but it's like I'm gonna make 10 minutes to go talk to him or see him,
Yeah.
and then move on to
Or
the
even
next thing.
catching up with friends for that matter.
Exactly.
Like I have that
Not
problem
even
where I'm
possible.
going towards something and I'm like, geez, I can't just not say hi to this person because I'm never gonna find him again because
Yeah.
it's a huge convention.
The phones is like
We just
constant
honestly,
Yeah.
phone.
we get stuff like that all the time, where we get last minutes like, hey, Ray Park wants all the Star Wars people to introduce him on stage. You
Oh.
have 5 minutes to gather everybody and get over there.
Bring a robe and don't look up.
Yeah,
Let's
go.
We just
Go.
we just part the crowd. I mean, we do it
Yeah.
nicely, but we're
Mhm.
like, please move. We're marching
Yeah.
through.
See, we've never had to worry about like last minute stuff like that. But when you're in the process of trying to get somewhere, my whole goal is to take as much time as possible
Mhm.
because I cannot say no to somebody who asks
Right.
for a picture.
They're
I
so
can't
sweet,
do it.
and you're
It's
just
just
like,
not
"No."
possible. Especially if you get like, I mean, in my Piccolo costume, that's probably the best representation. Everybody grew up. I learned the morals of my life through that show. And when people approach you like that and they're so excited, you
childhood.
cannot say no
Just
because
Right.
you
like
know
little
what they
kids.
feel
Oh
like.
gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just step on them, keep moving.
I'm
No.
important.
We don't do
Get
that.
away with like parting the crowd pretty easily because you guys are an assertive group
Right,
of
yeah.
That's
Mercenaries.
men that are
Well,
women that are
that's
just, like,
totally in
marching through the
character.
crowd.
Yeah,
Right.
we honestly try to be, polite and say, hey, you mind moving and try to go around people, but
Yeah.
usually they
I
can hear
always
us coming.
hear, yeah, Merc's coming through.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, everybody.
Make a hole.
Make a
Yeah.
hole,
Hard to
yeah.
see.
Make a hole.
You know?
And we
then
try to be
for-
polite about it.
And then for you, like making scheduled appearances, like I guess we kind of talked about the same thing, just trying to get through people and stopping for pictures. How often do you have to turn people down if you're running late for
Oh
something?
gosh, that's why I do say pretty much duck and cover. If you don't look up, you won't see the sad faces that you're disappointing as you leave. I'm just like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Because you make eye contact, they'll be like, can I? And you're like, okay, I don't have to be anywhere.
You're like slightly moving while they're taking the picture. So you're just smiling,
Okay.
walking slowly.
Yeah.
Your
Take the
body's
picture
moving
on the
at
walk.
that
Hurry.
stage.
Let's go, let's
enough
go.
to not get a totally blurred picture.
Right.
Well, that happened to me one time, actually. I was in the middle of this Make-A-Wish event. And I had to be somewhere at a certain time for this kid. And someone came up and was like, I love your Matt, I'm Moody, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I gotta go. I'm in this thing, I gotta go right now.
Mhm.
But then I looked her up on, because I remembered what she looked like, saw her on a cosplay group, and hey, it was me, I'm sorry, I didn't make time. And she said, well, that was okay, I knew you were in trouble. Now we're actually good friends.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
People
awesome.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
I was like,
a
sorry,
lot-
I was really busy.
A lot of the things I'll do when you absolutely have to turn somebody down is, where are you going to be in 5 minutes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I will always make an effort to make it back to that person because I know I want a picture of I take pictures of very specific costumes just because I'm a huge fan of those costumes.
Mhm.
And if they were to tell me no, I wouldn't be mad. I'd just be like, oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
like from like a
man.
non-cosplayer point of view, there's so much to do at any convention that you can just like, oh, well, that's nuts. Hey, look, action
Right.
figures.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Ooh, shiny.
I
Yeah.
guess
Everybody's
that does
attention
make
span
sense.
Just clicks to the next
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So when you guys have like your booth set up and you have to leave for whatever reason, like whether it's a scheduled appearance or you need to eat or something like that,
Mhm.
do you have somebody man the booth and,
We do,
and
we
let
have-
people know, or do you just stick up a sign like
No,
be back at
we
this
never
time?
leave it insecure. We
Gone
have-
fishing.
Yeah, we have handlers.
Be back next summer.
Basically,
Yeah,
there are
makes
people that aren't members or not in costumes like that who say, hey, we have it scheduled ahead of time. Say, okay, this is time is our panel. We need so many people during this time. And so they're there for that to answer the question, say, we're at a panel and
Mhm.
this is what time we'll be back.
Yeah, keep an eye on your stuff because you never
Mhm.
know, anywhere you're at, or if you're at a different convention that's not local to you, you don't really know the people there. So just have somebody to keep an eye on your stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
just safer that
Well,
way.
handlers are really good to have,
Mhm.
especially with the timeliness and the taking pictures in aisles.
Yeah.
Because if you're carrying stuff, which is going to happen, you're always going to have stuff in your hands. To stop and put it down and then find a
Mhm.
spot to stand and take the picture and then to turn around, and
Yeah.
it's a pain to
Mhm.
be able to be like, here, hold this. So you
It's
got one
much
guy
better,
standing there
yeah.
with 6 bags and 4 drinks.
Well, actually, on that made me think of something else on survival wise is go at least half a day not in costume.
Yeah.
If you want to
If
see
you wanna
vendors.
see
If you wanna
something,
see
If you want to get
Yeah.
vendors, you want to get someone's autograph,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's hard running around
yeah.
at the very end of the day while people are cleaning up and you're like, wait, don't put that in a box. I want to look at it.
Yeah.
I want to buy that.
Yeah, we ran around with that. Oh my gosh, because
Yeah.
you're trying to get everything. And it's like we should have just went one day
I think
without wearing.
we were the
something.
last people to leave Star Wars
Oh yeah.
Celebration.
Oh yeah, we were.
People were like literally like, hey, you guys need to go. And we're
Get
I was taking
out.
selfies with everything. I'm like, Darth Vader. Oh,
like,
Chewbacca.
oh, wait, stop, take a picture. Okay, take a picture of me too.
Yeah.
And it was just like we couldn't see anything because like we were wearing
Speakerphone.
costumes every day.
I always plan 3 costumes, and then I always drop one to walk around without a costume
That's a
on.
good idea.
Because
It's such a good idea.
The first 2 days you're walking around and you want to see everything,
Mhm.
but you
can't,
never get
you
the
won't.
chance. And don't get me wrong, the costume dressing up's the whole reason I go to con.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of cool nerd stuff there.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
I wanna
you
see it
wanna go
all.
shopping.
The plus side of being like a vendor or someone who is like invited there, you kind of get the showroom floor before it
before it-
opens. So
Yeah.
if you need to get anything done and you don't have time to get out of
But
the costume
after
or whatever,
parties, you want to sleep in.
No.
That's
Luckily,
a
Press gets
problem.
that treatment too. Usually, like the
Yeah.
first hour
Yeah.
every day is a little press run around.
Yeah.
So
you get to see
quiet
everything
and nice.
beforehand, and then the chaos happens.
Ugh.
Well, that's part of the next thing too is, when you plan it, you're planning for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
You're not just planning for that day.
Yeah.
And so, when I go, I usually about half the first day is when I look around.
Mhm.
And then after that, then I dress up, do that.
I always look around the last day because if I'm walking around at any point, I kind of like take a mental note of everything that's
Yeah.
around me that I want to go look at later.
Well, sometimes on the last days,
It's all gone.
they do that,
It's all
or
gone.
it's all discounted.
Yeah,
that's true.
So,
That's true.
like they want to
And
get rid of
that's-
these hoodies before they.
Yeah,
'cause
they
no
don't
one
want to
wants
carry
pack
them
up
home.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to take them home, so they're just like, here, take it.
Sure.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
actually very good.
So you're
It's
gonna
a
you're
pro
gonna
tip.
miss out on
Pro tip.
all the good stuff, but whatever's left, you will get a good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
There
If you're not
you
picky.
go. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
not picky, if you'll take anything. then
And
go ahead.
I'm not.
Nope.
So on a completely different note, talking about like people, like just the conduct and the communication between people there.
Mhm.
Cosplay is not consent. What tips and advice would you give to people going to the event, like as guests or vendors versus attendees?
Don't treat any person there that you wouldn't. Don't treat any person there. Wow, I'm completely
Do unto
not.
others.
I'm completely. Would you treat your mother that way?
Ah,
Then
yeah,
don't
there you go.
treat
Right.
her
Ugh.
that
It's
way.
like, hey,
Yeah.
she's wearing a bikini, but I treat my mom that.
Ha.
Hi.
Don't
Mom and
touch
a
your
slave
mother that
later.
way.
No,
Stop
no.
it.
Ah!
But I mean, it's a good rule of thumb to go by, because if your mom was watching you do it and
There
you did
go.
it,
Right.
I
Would she
probably-
approve?
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
First-
it's this easy. Joni, I want to take a picture with you. Can I put my arm around you?
Yeah, and see,
Okay, here you
asking
go.
questions are so great. Like the more questions you ask, it's perfectly fine. You know,
Yeah.
and it's polite, and we don't get annoyed by asking that question
Yeah.
at
And
all.
there are like surprisingly a lot more people than you'd expect ask to pick people up in photos.
They don't do
Pick
it.
you up
I never
and-
get that.
and some-
Because I get it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even cosplay.
I have actually had that happen once when I was in my Misty. Some guy's like, "I want to pick you up." I was
Oh,
like,
gosh.
"All right."
Wardrobe malfunction.
Like,
No.
I try to assess the situation. Like, does this person look?
Can they lift? you?
Can they
and
do
it
this?
Just like if
Are
it
they
feels
drunk?
Like a safe
Can
environment,
they do
yeah.
it gracefully?
Yeah, then
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, yeah, cool, because there are some people who are like, I try to get as many pictures as I can, lifting as many of this specific character as I can. So I know, and
It's
then
so
some
weird.
people are like, I need as many like derpy photos with
Yeah.
cosplayers
Yeah.
as possible.
I did
People
that.
do
My first Comic Con was try and get as many pictures with as many pretty girls as possible, doing the
Mhm.
stupidest faces you can make. That's how I met Joni.
That's how you get.
Oh, yeah, you too, yeah.
That's why we're friends.
I remember like we had been friends for like gosh like a month, and then you're like, "Hey Megan, remember this?" And I was like, "That was you."
Yeah.
Like,
I
use
didn't
an
even
example
know
all the
you.
time when we're talking about stuff like this. Like some people like certain pictures with like as many people as possible,
Yeah.
and people picking up others is.
It's
A
one
thing.
of those
Yeah,
things.
it's a
It's a
And I
thing.
told some people yes, depending on the situation, and I told some
Body
people
paint?
no.
No.
Like, if
Don't
you're
do
body
it.
paint, don't ask to lift them up. They're not clothes.
And the paint
That's
comes
so
off.
rude.
It's just weird.
It's like barbarian.
I want to lift you.
Drag you by your hair.
Boom.
It's really gross.
Lift.
But
There you
it's
go.
just like, especially in a situation where they're female, I think it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like guys, also cosplay is not consent. Like, don't touch people regardless of what parts they have.
Or
Right.
their
Just
armors,
don't
you
touch
know.
people.
They could
Well,
be delicate.
There's another thing you can. I mean, granted, this doesn't apply to everybody, but know your personality. I guess know your boundaries. Yes,
Yeah.
but it's like
You know, like no,
Hey,
your
I-
parents' first name.
know your social security number.
Donuts.
No, but like someone, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but someone who's charismatic and non-threatening like me, I could go like, "Hey, let's take a picture. Ha, bye. It's nice meeting you," and just keep it lighthearted and
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah.
Where you don't want to like, "Hey, I'm
Well,
gonna
you
take it,"
can,
Please
you
don't
can
rub my
always
side.
tell in the situation
Yeah.
whether it's acceptable or whether. But I mean,
Or even
good
be
rule of
that
thumb:
person.
ask.
Or yeah,
Just ask.
yeah, even if you're an awkward person and you know you're an awkward person,
Mhm.
it doesn't. Nothing. It never hurts to ask.
But that's the
But
whole
also, don't
thing.
use that as an excuse too. Because I've heard people do some weird things like touch women stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I'm socially awkward. I don't know how to act.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
you know how
That's
to
not
act.
You knew what you were
excuse.
doing.
Yeah.
You say that before.
Like,
Yeah.
just don't make an excuse.
Yeah.
Or you, like
Yeah.
you said, like you can tell how people are gonna act. Like for me personally, I would just prefer someone take a normal like arm over the shoulder picture than the hover hand.
Yeah.
Because that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, am I-
Because I can sense your fear.
yeah.
They're like
Oh my
wildcats.
gosh.
Run.
Okay, I'm not
But
You should seriously say that to somebody next time they do a
I can
hover
sense your
hand. Just
fear.
be like, "I can sense your fear."
I
Just
can
touch
smell
me.
your fear. Just
And then go straight face for the picture too, so they have evidence.
That are afraid to come near you, and there are people who have no boundary, and they'll suck you right in.
Oh,
And I'm like,
gosh.
if I can feel like your pores excreting sweat,
Oh gosh.
please take like a couple inches.
Yeah. Or be
Ugh.
that
A
person
little bit
that
back.
helps that person out. And if you see a cosplay that's a little uncomfortable, be like, oh, hey, can I get the next picture? And just save them. Because
Yeah.
be that
I do
person,
that all the
okay?
time. All
Yeah.
the
If
time.
See that
anybody
saved,
does
huh?
Yeah.
make you
Gotcha.
uncomfortable, they have the booths that are like considered safe havens, or like they have you guys, they have Umbrella
Yeah.
Corps, they have guys that are trained and they have security backgrounds or weapons backgrounds, safety backgrounds, and they can help you. So if you're ever in danger for whatever reason, there are always people there that you can talk to, and there's volunteers with Brightly.
Well,
Mhm.
and that's the thing. Even extreme cases of the people like following people through the crowd. A good majority of the time, I mean, we're in a room full of nerds.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
all the ones, for a majority, that are the quiet, nonchalant, pulled back,
Mhm.
respectful people. If
Mhm.
somebody's following you, talk to the nearest big guy and be like, dude,
Right.
this guy's scaring
Yeah,
me.
exactly,
And he will
yeah.
stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's use the buddy system again, like we've mentioned
Yeah.
a couple times before with going pee, but this also is for safety.
Now, I learned
Spartans
something.
push.
I learned something really cool. I don't remember where I learned it from. Otherwise, I'd credit it. So sorry. But somebody said to you, if somebody is kind of making you uncomfortable, or just take a selfie with them so you can show it to a security guard.
Oh,
And-
That's
That's
awesome.
an excellent
And,
tip.
yeah, I mean,
But just very fast. You don't want to be too
Because
close.
a lot of times when you do tell someone, they've disappeared because
and
they
you don't
know, but-
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, you've
And you
seen
don't
so
remember
many
what they look
people.
like, you don't know their name.
That makes sense.
there's so many people have taken selfies with me in the background. That makes-
You're that
guy. Uh-oh. But yeah, to wrap this up really quickly, because we have run out of time.
Oh.
One tip for recovery after the convention is over.
Mm.
Go.
Nap. I sleep for 12 hours.
Nap.
Go.
Take the next day off of work.
Go.
Naked juice.
Go.
Uh,
I'm naked.
Naked.
It threw me off too. I'm not gonna lie.
I say hydrate your body and wash your face and your body and your hair, and you know.
Wash yourself.
everything.
Hygiene. Come on.
Yeah.
Hygiene and take some vitamin C. Don't
Yes.
get the con prep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sing.
Vitamin
Take
C
care of
is
your
good.
costume too. Don't let it sit there for months.
Clean
You know,
that
collecting.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mold.
I've actually been. I've done that.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
it's gross,
He's like,
dude.
I just didn't want to let the convention go.
It's more or less I take it off and I like put
Oh
it
my God.
somewhere and I'm like, I'll take care of that tomorrow. And then a week later I'll be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'll take care
Oh,
of
it's
that
still
tomorrow.
standing there.
Yeah. All my E3 stuff is still just littered across my
Hey,
floor. I haven't done
that's
it
just
yet.
how guys are.
Convention, but you can't take the convention out of the guy.
No matter how hard you scrub.
All right, and where can we follow you guys? Not in the creepy sense. Where can we pay attention to the work that you do?
Follow your adventures.
On Facebook, you can find me under Robinson Creations.
Facebook.com/JoniBrosis @JoniBrosis on pretty much everything.
Facebook for Nerds of Play and Alien Cosplay. So
Alien. GeekTyrant.com. I also have Geek Tyrant Facebook and @Geek Tyrant for Twitter. My personal one, ladies, is no,
Yes.
PB Abeg if you really want.
Bye.
That's fantastic. Megan Golden cosplay. You know me. All right, everybody smile and wave.
Uh,
Now everybody move.